Hello,
Hey
hello.
Jeff. Hi.
Hey, good to see you, Donna. What's up, women in business? Excited for this room today. We got a very, very, very special host of the room, Donna, who is going to be breaking down 6 ways to create client demand and increase revenue. We're going to get into her bio and everything like that in a second. We're just going to let the room ping people in. I'm going to add some topics, but really excited for this room. So definitely stick around. And yeah, if you could share this room in the hallway, a lot of gems would be dropped today. But real quick, Donna, how's your day been going?
Absolutely amazing. It's been a whirlwind of not only a week, a whirlwind of not really a whirlwind of a day, but a whirlwind of a couple of weeks. So it's been awesome. I've had my clients have had some great successes, so I'm kind of giddy about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you know what? Let's just get straight into it. Donna, I would love for you to introduce yourself and kind of frame up what people are going to get out of today's room.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So my name is Donna St. Louis, and a lot of people know me as the coach's coach. And what I do is I help people who are experts, and I want to be very clear about that. So these people are experts in their industry, they're coaching badasses basically, and I help them turn their expertise. Usually, they usually have like some kind of 6 week program, and I help them turn that into a 6 figure program and high ticket offers, so they can kind of up the game on the clients that they have. Tiny bit of background is that most people who have heard my story know that I was homeless at 19 and that I sold my business intelligence company for 250 million when I was 39. And then other very few people know that my accounts, something happened with my finances. They were wiped out down to $2,500. And I turned that $2,500 into 7 figures in about 2 years. And so I show other people how to do that because I don't think we have to be in debt if we can have financial freedom from corporate colonization.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I'll just do a quick intro. My name's Jared Albertin. I'm actually a leader in the Women in Business Club. I'm really close to the founder, Christina Holder. And I'm a huge advocate and ally to women in business, women in tech, women entrepreneurs, women startup founders, all of that. So, my goal is to bring really dope content to women in business and also highlight some of the best women in business that I know on Clubhouse. And so I have Donna here, and she's going to be running the show. I'm just here to support. But one thing that's super important is we want to make sure as many people can see and hear the examples that Donna's about to break down. Because as she mentioned, she's went from homeless to multimillionaire utilizing these strategies. So this isn't, theory. This is things she does actually for her clients, and she's very passionate about it, and I'm excited for y'all to hear all of that. So there's a little button that has circular arrows at the bottom, so I'm going to be the first to do it. You click that, you click share on Clubhouse, and then you go ahead and click I'm gonna click some gem emojis. I'm gonna click 6 of them because there's gonna be 6 gems being dropped. More than that probably, but 6 gems. All right. So that now turned to a number one. All right, let's go ahead and support this room. Let's turn that number one to a 10, 20, 30 as she drops these gems. So thank you all for being here. And without further ado, I'm gonna pass it to Donna so she can get into the content.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's get into this. Number one challenge that and I'm just gonna go straight in and I can't wait for people to like raise your hands, ask questions, and do all that magic. Um, the number one challenge that I see that people run into big time is that they feel like they're a total badass coach. They will drag their clients kicking and screaming to success, right? Like they will do all the things, but they still feel like they are the best kept secret. And the reason you feel that way, quite honestly, is because you're usually surrounded by a bunch of wannabe experts. And I hate to say it, but I'm just going to be super real. Y'all find that about me very soon. Is that you're surrounded by a bunch of people who are selling shiny, right? But when you pull it back, there's really no meat, there's no content under there, and they really can't get their people to the gold. And so you'll bleed for your clients, but still you struggle to get more clients on demand. It's just really, really hard. And so when you hear somebody like me go, yo, I can help you really, really, really deliver a high value offer, you probably laugh. You're probably thinking, how can I get people to sign up? I can't get people to sign up for a $10 offer. How am I going to get them to sign up for a $10,000 offer? And what am I going to have to do anyway? Give up a kidney? Like, that is the things that I hear people say. And I get it because I've been there. I've done that. I got the ugly t-shirt. So what I want to do is I want to drop some gems today and share with you a couple of things. And the first one I'm going to share with you is, number one, about your rates. And the truth is, there's two reasons that you're not getting the value, the rates that you truly deserve. Either A, you don't believe in your clients, or B, you don't believe in your value. It's one of those two. It really has money is exponential, time is limited. So either A, you don't believe in your clients, or B, you don't believe in your value, because there's no way that other people should be out here in these streets selling something that's not real when you know that what you're absolutely real. And so I want to make sure that you're doing that. You got to start there, right? Recognize your value. Now, that's the mindset part, but now we're going to work back a little bit. There are 6 elements, 6 areas that you got to be totally on top of in order to go from, hey, I got some great expertise, to I'm actually making money. And here they are. So if you get a pen, get a paper, write them down, put them in notes somewhere, magic's going to happen. The first one is expertise. And I'm going to tell you all 6, and then we'll work through. The first one is expertise. The second one is ideal client. The third is your offer. The fourth is your market audacity. The fifth is client engagement. And the sixth is sales acceleration. Here's the deal. I'm going to start with the first one, and Jarrett, jump in when you're ready to stop me. The first one is going to be your expertise. It's one thing to say that I'm an expert and that, yeah, I know what I'm doing and I'm crushing it and all of that. What happens is, a lot of times when I'm talking to people who are experts, when these coaches are coming to me, the number one challenge they're running into is that they're trying to take every bit of their expertise and conflate it into this one singular thing. They just want to combine it all into this one singular thing. And so what they usually end up doing is they usually end up sounding very Shakespearean and kind of rosemary and kind of pretty, but it doesn't sound like they're offering anything of substance. They're so afraid that they're going to leave some of their expertise behind that none of their expertise matters. And you really, really, really have to understand that it is absolutely critical that you pick. Here's the truth. It would be a hell of a lot easier if you were a hell of a lot dumber. Because if you were stupid, you'd only have one thing to choose from. And you wouldn't have this whole issue of which one do I choose. It would be much easier. But because you are so smart and there is so much to choose from, it's really, really difficult for you to say, oh, this is my expertise. Here's one thing for you to really think about as you're picking. And I'm going to use Superman. Superman can fly. He can fly like nobody's business, right? But he cannot transfer his ability to fly to you. He can't. It is his talent. It's what he knows how to do. It is a tool in his toolbox. Recognize that there is a significant difference between the tool in your toolbox that you keep versus the knowledge that you transfer. So he might be able to teach you how to throw a right hook, but what he cannot teach you is how to fly. He can only do that for you. You want to make sure that you understand the difference between those two. That's number one. If you get that nailed down and really choose your expertise and go 3 levels deep, it's going to make a hell of a difference, because when you don't, you feel like the jack of all trades. And within that expertise, once you pick that one piece of core expertise, the next thing that you do, and even if you're looking for a coach or looking for an expert, is you got to have a methodology. A methodology is so critical because it truly helps you understand. First of all, without it, you're all over the place. I got really amazing, well-intentioned coaches that know their stuff, but because they don't have a methodology, what usually ends up happening is they end up winging it. Not because they're trying to be whatever, like not a good person, but it's just that they have no idea, truthfully, how to take a person from point A to point B. They're going to miss some steps. A methodology ensures that you and your client always know the journey that you're on, and you always know what you're going to do next. It keeps you from kind of falling off the rails, and it keeps you from going out of scope on what your offering is. Those things make all the difference. You come across as the high powered expert that you are when you have a methodology. And a lot of people, by the way, will think they have a methodology, and Lord knows they do not. So if y'all have questions about methodology or this first point, please, please, please jump in and ask questions, because this is, if you don't have this part nailed, the rest of this is going to go off the rails.
So
Um,
Donna,
mhm.
I want to give you a break and ask you a question real quick. But
Yeah.
before I do, everybody, please, this is interactive. Feel free to raise hands and come on stage, even if it's not the piece that she's covering right now, but you're interested in how do I create client demand, how do I increase revenue, etc. Feel free to come up. There's no bad questions, no dumb questions. We love the interaction. But when it comes to your clients um, and their journey from their before state to their after state,
Hmm.
how important has methodology been and why?
Critical. So one of my clients, who actually, she's doing her challenge right now, and she's been on this stage, is Chanelle Evans. So Chanelle Evans, she has done social media domination, and she came to my program because she had a 6 week program that she was doing, and she had clients, but she wanted to do something bigger. So we turned her 6 week program into a 6 figure mansion retreat. But to do that, we first had to have a methodology in order to understand when your clients walk in. Here's the thing about it, think about it this way: everything goes through phases. But for your client to even qualify to get to phase one, what do they need to bring to the table? This will keep you from taking everything, right? It is literally a gauntlet of disqualification. You can't get to phase two until you're done with phase one. So it keeps my clients from going too far ahead when the foundation isn't done. A good methodology will help your clients build a foundation and build upon the foundation, so that way they will consistently reach success. A methodology gives you consistent success.
Love that answer. And I love the answer about disqualification as well. I see we have a question on stage. Shernice, please let us know what your question is.
Hi everyone. This is Shanice without the. I am basically more of a domestic violence advocate, and what I did was I took down some information and did my research, did my homework, and I started up some domestic violence courses. Where's the basic? Because a lot of us don't know that we are in a domestic violence relationship until you get educated on it, right? So I said, okay, let me go into the life coach courses so that way I could blend both of them in together. However, I don't want to just stick with domestic violence, but domestic violence to me is my my thing because I've been one and I'm a survivor of it. So, long story short, I'm trying to figure out my niche, which way to go. How can I turn, if I have to turn the domestic violence piece into a whole coaching system and then find my way through or what? So, I'm asking the question.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for asking that question. And listen, I'm not discounting domestic violence at all. So when I ask this question, I just want you to hear exactly how I'm saying this. Be careful in regards to what it is that you're quote unquote selling, right? Because when you say, I'm a domestic violence expert, quite honestly, people aren't buying domestic violence, right? They're not like, and I don't mean that in a flippant way, they're not buying domestic violence because that's such a negative. Just like I had a lady that I worked with for years, it came to me and said, I'm an unconscious bias expert. And I'm like, oh, so you're going to teach me how to be really, really racist and not even know it? No one's buying that, right? So, what is the opposite of domestic violence?
Right. So, no, but you absolutely right because my husband actually made a statement. He's like, who where would you get your money from and what's your target and would you get your money, so I was like, Dad, you're right. So I mean, I know in the life coach will, there's a will, so we got financial relationships, and a few other things, spirituality, all these other things that's on the wheel. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should turn into a relationship coaching classes, you know.
But you have to, but what I'm saying is I really want you to stay, if your area of expertise is domestic violence, it can be domestic violence. What I'm saying is, instead of selling domestic violence, sell the results of being out of that situation. What is the result of going through your program? What is the result of becoming stronger out of domestic violence? Right?
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to buy domestic violence. No one's like, so wait, when I hit her, should I use the backhand or the forehand, and what's the best way not to leave a bruise? That we're not selling that. We're
Right.
selling what is the other side of that. So I would challenge you to change the language so that you
Mm-hmm.
can attract your ideal client. Because people who are in domestic violence, by the way, ain't no way in hell they're going to go on Google and be
Right.
searching how to get out of domestic violence, because that's going to get them an ass whooping.
Right. Basically.
Right. So
Right.
you need to come up with a language. Your language has to be not the negative. Your language has to be the positive result.
Okay.
I don't think you need to change your expertise. It's your messaging.
Got it. Okay.
Does
Thank
that
you.
make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
It,
cool, cool, cool.
I might need your help.
I got you. I got you. Go to Fyrebrand.net. I got you. That's
Okay.
that's 100% what that's for.
All right.
All
Yeah. So real
right.
quick, you kind of mentioned Firebrand.net. What is that, and like how is it going to help the people in the audience as they hear
Oh,
go through all the different tips?
yeah. So Fyrebrand.net is actually the name of my company. So it literally means rebel. So Fyrebrand.net is the name of my company. And what we're doing in April is we have a 3-day boot camp. And let me just say this real quick, y'all. A lot of people do boot camps, and what it really is, it's a bunch of experts that come across the stage, and they just waterboard you with a whole bunch of content, and they call that a boot camp. I don't know if y'all know what a boot camp is, but that's not a boot camp. In boot camps, what they usually do is they say, this is how you do a push-up, and then they say, now do 50 of them. So we're not waterboarding people with content. It is literally me on stage, whiteboard, pen, paper. You are working through your content. So you learn something. And then, like 5 minutes after you learn it, you're doing it. And then, right after you do it, you get it validated. And then you learn something else. And so your walking away have already started. So it is a 3-day boot camp. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this. The prices were supposed to double as of yesterday, but my CMO was out. And so I'm going to let you know that by the end of the week, the prices that are there now will be twice as much, because we don't do cheap and free. Just give me a heads up. But it's a 3-day sales acceleration and marketing acceleration boot camp.
All right, perfect, perfect. So if you're interested in learning more or signing up, make sure you click up at the top and do so urgently, because you know today's price is not going to be tomorrow's
Yeah.
price. So
Today's price is not tomorrow's discount. That's not how I roll.
yep, yep, awesome. So Jasmine and Chandra, thank you so much for coming to the stage. Super duper appreciate it. Let's go with Jasmine. What is your question? And Jasmine, if you're speaking, you're on mute, so you just have to click that microphone icon.
Sorry, I was hitting the wrong mute button. Hello, everyone.
Hey, how you
so,
doing?
so I was looking at someone even referring to the last lady who asked the question when Dewana was like, "Well, you're not selling domestic violence, so it's like you're selling freedom, you're selling peace of mind, you're selling confidence, and how to get to those places, right?"
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So like I'm an esthetician, I'm a makeup artist.
Mm-hmm.
Um so that's like for so my methodology, how I'm looking at what you were just describing would be set up the first phase of becoming my client, like so have methods set up. Okay, once they finish these tier of treatments, move them to this next tier of treatments, and then move them to another tier of treatments. Would
My
that
love,
be
you
the
have
way?
just nailed it.
Okay.
Exactly. So if I rolled into your shop, right? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what I want you to do is I want you to make me look 10 years younger. And you're like, honey, honey, honey.
Yeah.
Right? And so you would say, first, we got to make sure that your skin don't look like that, because what the hell, right? Do you know what a
Right.
moisturizer is? And then, right, so there are phases that your clients go through. And within those phases, There are actions that you take in those phases. Those phases are the top level of your methodology. Those actions are the second level of your methodology. And the results are the third level of your methodology. You nailed it. And as
Okay.
long, and here's the thing,
Can you
when you
repeat
have a
that
method,
one more time? The
yes,
when you did the
ma'am.
1, 2, and 3, please. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Your phases are the top level of your methodology. In other words, first, first we need that canvas, so we got to get your skin clean. Second, we got to do some correction. Third, right? So you have those phases. That's the top level.
Mm-hmm.
The actions that you do within those phases, your secret sauce, that's the second level. And the results that they get, that's the third level. What you actually sell is not the phases and it's not your process, it's the results.
Perfect.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, all right. And I see Sandra came up as well. So let's get to you. And then after that, we're going to get into number two. So, everybody, I'm sure you guys see that Donna is a straight shooter. She knows what she's talking about, dropping gems. So, I would love for everybody to share this room, let people catch number five, number one, 2 through 6. So, go ahead and click that number 7 and go ahead and share it to the hallway if you don't mind. We really appreciate the support, and feel free to keep on coming on stage to ask questions. We're here to serve the women in business community. And also the chat features over there on the left hand corner. Feel free to ask questions there or make comments or ask for clarifications if you don't feel like coming on stage. All right. So, Chandra, please let us know what your question is.
Good morning. I don't actually have a question. I kind of have a statement to piggyback on. Just as long as you think of yourself as a doctor and the people are the patients wanting a solution, once you continue to sell the actual problem that they have, that'll be the prescription, and they will always come to you for the solution. Like, just keep selling the actual problem that they have, like their sickness, like what are they sick of, the actual thing that they need, and they'll come to you, the doctor, for the solution. They'll know you have the solution because you're selling them the actual problem that they have.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Thank you for that ad, Chandra. Appreciate it. So, Donna, let's get into the next portion. What is next?
Number two is identifying your ideal client. Now, this is a little harder than people think it is because a lot of times when you start talking about your ideal client, I can bring 10 people up to the stage and I'm swear to you, 9 of them are going to tell me about people's height, weight, demographics. They're going to be like, they got to be a woman, they got to be between the ages of this and this, which this was my favorite because this lady who is a financial services person said, I work with women between the ages of 25 and 50 who have about $10,000 of additional money in their account. And I go, oh, okay. So the fact that I'm 52 and I have $500,000 in my account means that you wouldn't work with me. And she's like, oh, no, I would work with me. Okay, then stop using these arbitrary numbers that your marketing guy needs for the Facebook ad. That's not how you identify your ideal client, right? Your ideal client should literally raise their hand and go, oh, she's talking to me. Oh, she 100% is talking about me. So when I say I work with people who are badass coaches who feel like they're the best kept secret, that have these epic programs and they move their clients from here to here. And sometimes they feel like they're winging it. And sometimes they feel like they're crushing it. But at the end of the day, what they're looking for is a more consistent way to hit those 6 figure quarters and 6 figure months. Those people know exactly what I'm talking about. So if you're sitting there going, well, I'm not really making any money as a coach, or I'm not really doing this, or I'm not really doing that, then you're probably going, I'm not her ideal client. And you're probably right. Your ideal client needs to go through a gauntlet of disqualification. Notice that I did not say qualification. And I'm also not saying, and I love when people go, but I can work with anyone. Of course you can. We're not a communist country. You can work with anybody you want. But what you really want to do is you want to treat your business like a private club and not like a public park. Stop letting everyone come in and piss on your tree. Choose the people who you want to come into your business and that you want to work with. Work with the clients that you truly love who will benefit the most from your expertise and pick that client. Don't just let them pick you. So that's where you really want to get to. really identifying your ideal client and not identifying it for Facebook ads, identifying your ideal client so that when you speak, they raise their hands and they go, that's she's talking to me. Most people's challenges, they're going, oh, but what if I pick that ideal client and then I'm going to miss out on all these others? Actually, by picking your ideal client and serving that community so extremely well, you will all of a sudden find a whole bunch of people, all these what we call secondary and tertiary clients, will start coming to you, and they'll come to you quickly. Because I have people that come to me that are doctors and they're going, I really want you to help me do this. I have people that come to me that are lawyers that are going, I need help doing this. I have executives that are going, can you help me do the same thing that you do for those entrepreneurs? Can you help me do that in my business? People are smart. They can see the expertise that I'm applying and they're going, I think if you applied that same expertise over here, I would experience that same amount of success. So don't be afraid to niche down and truly identify who your ideal client is. You will actually make more money working with your true ideal client than you will working with the masses. And don't try to get like, we talk about this all the time. I speak on stages in front of thousands quite often, right? I'm getting ready to do stuff with Best Buy. Starbucks is a client, these huge clients that I work with. Microsoft is a client. But when you ask me about my business and the stages that I put on, listen, I usually am trying to get no more than 25 people in the room, maybe 30. Why? Because for me and my business, I work in exclusivity. I want to work with people that I can give them my cell phone number and they can come hang out with me. I mean, I just literally took my client, we went kayaking so she could experience manatees because I needed her to get past a mindset block. Pick your clients so much that you would say, I would spend the weekend with them. That's how you start getting to high value offers because you start delivering high value services.
Man, that's a gem right there. And I think for most people, and let me know if I break up. The internet just went out where I'm at, but I still
You're
got.
good.
Okay, cool. But no, that's such a gem because I think for most people, the scarcity mindset will make you want to take on every single person that comes across your desk or shows interest or gives you a call. But the abundance mindset is understanding that your ideal clients are out there, but having that quality over quantity and having that impact versus just I guess revenue coming in, because the higher the impact is
Hmm.
for your clients, the more the word of mouth, the bigger the testimonials,
And
and
the more you
also
charge.
and the more you charge, more yeah, exactly, because you can actually justify the ROI. Because instead of taking a bunch of clients that average a 10,000 increase in their business, $10,000 increase in their business, you have four clients that have $100,000 increase in their business. So now instead of charging
Absolutely.
5,000, charge 50,000. So no, it totally makes sense. Plus, your time is valuable. Your energy is valuable. So putting that energy into people that are actually going to win and you actually enjoy working with because you're aligned, that's huge. So I love that. I just wanted to comment on that because I'm learning from you right now, actually, as I think about my business. So I appreciate that. I see Keon came on stage. Yeah, would love to hear from
Hi.
you, bro.
And we
Yeah, do you have
also
a
have
question?
King
Um,
Jero came up earlier as
Hello.
well. Hi.
I'm from Iran.
All right, cool, man. What you got going on?
Question.
All right. I think that might have been a troll, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Hit me in the chat if I mistaken that. But yeah, we're on a tight ship, tight schedule, so we're gonna keep it going. And I want to say what's up to my brother Jason from Payment. I know you're out of the Caribbean, so I wasn't sure if you could talk, but if you want to well, just
Hey,
was
Jared,
let
you're
him
going
just
out
kind
a little bit. Hey,
of,
Jared, you're going out a little bit.
all
And
right, Donna.
I'm gonna take it over to Latanya. Hey, Latanya. Do you have a question, love?
Hey Donna, first of all,
Hey.
I saw you in the room and I said, I know that this is a high value conversation. Let me take a break so that I can get my pen and paper out
Full
and listen.
disclosure, she is my client and she
I
is
am.
crushing it, y'all. She just put up a post. the other day, and you know what? I had just said brand lift gets brand lift. You put up a post the other day, and how many views did it get within like 24 hours? It was over like 6,000 or something.
Well, in 24 hours, it actually was at about 20,000. That was
Oh,
first. Now,
excuse
yeah,
me.
now we're at 111,000
That's
plus.
what I'm talking about. Yeah, me and Ruben are getting ready to help you turn that to fire. But anyway, go ahead, hon. What do you
I,
have a
I
question?
I love it, but actually I'm glad that you brought it up. I came in the room a little late, but I definitely wanted you to speak to leveraging authenticity. You may have talked about this, but I
Mm-hmm.
know that that's something that we've definitely talked about, and also like being willing to lean into things that sort of like the one thing that's unique about you, even though you can do a lot of things. So
Yeah.
I definitely wanted you to talk about that, because I know that's been personally a help, for me in actually elevating my business.
Yeah, absolutely. So to let y'all know what Latanya does, she helps people take their what they're selling, their physical products, and get them into big box. So we say she takes big ideas, gets them into big box, and turns them into big bucks. And specifically, she's working right now on food products. Is that right, Latanya? Did we narrow down the food products?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
Right now, yeah, right now we're looking at food products.
Mine, and she could do this, by the way, for anything. So here's a perfect example of an ideal client who could do something for anybody. So she could go, Donna, anybody who has a product that they're basically selling on Amazon, I can help them take that product and put that into da 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 da, because I have this background, I have the context, I know how to get them into the targets, and da, da. She knows how to do that. That is her jam. And I said, I get that you could do it for anybody, but let's instead figure out the somebody. And so then we got down to whether it was going to be beauty or food. And then we chose food. And she has a lot of reasons for going with food. So now that we're here and we're going with food, she has a methodology, a very specific methodology, and we are tailoring that methodology to make sure that it's for food. And that's number two. And here's the number three. And this will go a little bit more into that delivery or the offering, which we're going to talk about next anyway, which is brand lift gets brand lift. So if I go out and I say, hey, y'all, I got to tell you about my girl Latanya. She's doing this XYZ, ABC. And all of a sudden, Latanya gets all these comments, like, oh my God, I see you, but it's on my post, right? My post. So the fact that she put that I talked about her on my post, it gives me brand lift and it gives her brand lift, right? And so we want to make sure that we're leveraging that. So now that she's done that and she's gotten her 850 million views on that, myself and my chief marketing officer are going to work with her together to ensure that she leverages that for her own business. So that's something you really have to think about. And it's 100% authentic. Do not keep going out here in these streets talking about how everything in your life is absolutely perfect and oh my God, and the sun woke up and while it was raining on your neighbors, it was so shiny on you. No, tell people the truth. Tell people things that you're scared of. Tell people things that you've done. Tell people the risk that you're taking. You'll be absolutely surprised at the support you get. Before I go on, I want to answer this question because this falls into the next thing that I was going to talk about, which is delivery, right? Oh, and Michael Bentley mentioned something. The Mike Prince list from Billions. It's so funny. I watched this on Billions the other night, the show that I like to watch. And this guy, this billionaire, was talking about exclusively having people on his list. This is something I'm talking about in regards to exclusivity. There is a Fyrebrand list. Latanya, for example, is a part of Fire Fam. There is a whole language that we use in Fire Fam. Like we say things like the bat signal. We talk about pricing. We speak a completely different language in there that if you're not in Fire Fam and someone walked up to her and said, oh, they're in Fire Fam too, and she asked them two questions, she would know whether they were lying or not because she's in that exclusive club with exclusive members that do things like hang out in mansions. Anyway, so that's what I want you to think about in regards to your ideal client. So China said, I have a question. How do you price your services and not sound too expensive? This is a fantastic price and question. And what you have to do is this: you have to use what we call the point of ridiculousness. This is a great negotiation tactic and it absolutely works. So instead of saying my program is $15,000 for 6 months, don't say that. Say it's $2,500 a month, or it's $1,250 every 2 weeks. Just break it down for 6 months. Just break it down to the point of ridiculousness that you think is affordable for your clients, right? Make it make sense to them. The other thing, that if you're like me and you have financing where your clients can actually get financing, and I care about my clients a lot because we do things where they can get recurring financing, because I'm all about building your business credit and building your credit, is that they can get financing that's an open line of credit. So then they end up paying something like $500 or $800 a month as compared to $2,500 a month. So what you want to do is you want to break your pricing down to the point of ridiculousness. And instead of saying it's 6 payments of 2,500, you go, it's $2,500 down and 5 payments of 2,500. That's how you leverage that language, China, in order to help your offering sound more palatable for people. I'm also really big on telling people real life studies and stories. Like, for example, Latanya knows Chanelle, who is one of my clients, so she's very well aware of Chanelle's success, and so through my program. And so one of the things that you want to make sure that you're doing is that you're communicating in such an authentic way you're offering, that your clients will have no problem going, yep, that's exactly what happened. Yep, that was the hard part. We never lied about the hard part. Yep. And if Chanelle was on here, she would 100% go, how did I find success? She says it every time. I followed the instructions that were given to me. A lot of people, when they get into programs, and I know this happens to y'all if you're doing coaching as well, is they'll get in your program and they'll figure out how to twist, turn, and make it something else before they even got the first recipe. I'm like, you don't even know how to cook. Don't start adding ketchup to it. Just follow the process and trust the process. When you start talking about your offering has to be priced a little more than what you think your client can afford. And I know that sounds crazy, but trust me, make your offering price a little more than you think your client can afford. It shows the higher value of your product. Number two, either A, like anyone who comes into Fyrebrand, like for example, I'll use Latanya. So if Latanya said her client wanted to get in her program, but they didn't have the money, she actually has access to my financing. So she could go through my financing and they can get financed. Make sure that you're giving your clients a way to finance their dream, and let them know the expected return on investment time frame if they follow the methodology. I tell people straight up, if you go off rails on this methodology, I cannot help you get that ROI. But if you are following the methodology, the exact way that I gave it to you will get your ROI. People's time gets in, people's other things gets in the way. Recognize that and make sure you have a conversation with them about that. You can't be the only person that has a sense of urgency in regards to your client's success. They have to have that too. In regards to delivery, I look at how everyone else delivers, and then I say I don't want, and decide how I don't want to deliver. So one of the other things on delivery is, don't feel like you have to deliver your offering in a way that everyone else does. And I think this is one of the biggest things that people miss out on. So now you have your ideal client, you have your expertise, and now you have your offering. Your offering is an agreement between you and your ideal client. That's what it is. And so my agreement literally says the following: I do not deliver coaching the way that everyone else does. And I don't. Which means I'm not only going to talk to you on Friday between 1 and 1:30 for a half an hour. Instead, what I'm going to do is, my clients, because I run an exclusive program, my clients have my cell phone number. Like Latanya can text me, call me anytime she wants, right? My clients have my cell phone number. They can come and hang. They want to go do something for a weekend. We're going to do something for a weekend, and it doesn't cost extra. You need to sit with me for a day. Let's sit down for a day. Let's take that off our calendars and sit down for a day. Oh, you want to get on my calendar 3 times a week? Then get on my calendar 3 times a week. My clients have open access. I run an open coaching program, so they have open access to me at any time they want to. Now, I also call it common sense coaching because people are like, but what if somebody want to talk to you every day for like 3 hours? I also call it common sense coaching. If I have to change the rules for one client, I will not change the rules. I will change the client because it has to be common sense. So when you start looking at your offering for or your ideal client, don't sit there and think, how can I squeeze the most dollars out of this person? Really define how would I like to be treated as a client and how can I make that available for my clients? Because legit, Latanya does have my cell phone number. Like she, right? She could call me anytime she wants, right? But that's how it is for my clients. How do you want it to be for your clients? And my clients are very understanding. So when I go, hey, I'm going to take a couple of days off, they're like, okay. But they also know that if they call me and say, Donna, I really need you, that I'm answering my phone. You know, they know exactly how to do that. So I see we had, and I'm going to hope I say your name right, Jarrell come up. Jarrell, what's your question?
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry. I am just listening in, and you've made some really great points. My name is Jarrell Shody. I'm a data privacy attorney, and
Mm,
I do. My clients are generally they come to me after the fact instead of being proactive. And so
mm-hmm.
you spoke about the expected return on investment, and so with compliance or data privacy compliance, I have a hard time wrapping my head on marketing the return on investment to something that people can understand, because the return on investment is the reduction in fines, the reduction in
Mm-hmm.
citations, it's being compliant, you know what I mean, which
Mm-hmm.
is a cost center, not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily something where people can see a dollar figure return on investment. There, it's more qualitative type of return on investments, or maybe over time you won't see a data breach or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I was just wondering, um, what are your recommendations as far as marketing a return on investment with regard to data privacy compliance
Yep.
services?
100% understand exactly what you're talking about. In fact, one of my couple of my clients are cybersecurity firms, and I coach the income production side of the house. And this is one of the things that we're talking about all the time in regards to clients. So here we go. I think I can really help you in this one. So, you know, the number one thing that companies are concerned with in regards to cybersecurity, quite honestly, and I don't mean this in a bad way, is not about keeping themselves as secure as possible. A lot of times it's about losing clients. Because I'll use, for example, hospitals. Hospitals, if they are not as compliant as they're supposed to be, they can lose clients. Higher education institutions, if they're not as compliant as they're supposed to be, they will lose clients, and that will cost them money. And so it's not necessarily about them worrying about a hack as much as they are worried about this client requires that we are ISO 27001. And so, because they have that requirement and we don't have that, and we haven't met that requirement, we could lose clients, we could lose opportunities. So, really, what you can talk about is not the loss of opportunities, but the openness of getting more opportunities. In other words, if they are compliant, that they're more likely to be able to attract clients that require these certain levels of compliance. Does that make sense, Jarrell?
Yes, and that's actually what happens. People are presented with these opportunities, especially with regard to government funding, and
Absolutely.
they're in a hurry, like, oh my goodness, I don't have this, can you
I
help me?
didn't
So
get
it's
my pen
always,
test right. Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't get
it's
my pen
always
test, and
a
now all of a sudden
rush.
we
And
got a risk. Yes.
so I'm trying to figure out how to mark. So I offer privacy health checks,
Yep.
which are $2,500 flat fee privacy health check. Review your website, your processes, procedures, vendor agreement clauses. Um, and that $2,500, to be frank, is way less than what you're going to pay than when you come to me in a hurry saying, oh my God, I'm trying to get this contract, but I don't have this. Can you fix it? Type thing. But that's generally what it involves. People receiving contracts or fundings or partnerships, but they don't have the proper data privacy compliance or privacy policies or things, in cyber insurance, things like
Yeah.
that.
And that's how I would leverage it. Honestly, and I definitely invite you to get on a call with me. Just go to that meetwithdonna.com.
Okay.
And the reason I'm inviting you to get on a call with me is because, quite honestly, what you need is you need to switch the language from negative to positive and show it as having an opportunity rather than there's something missing. You know
Okay,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, I get that. I guess I would be more direct because I'm pretty broad. I say, make it.
No, be super
Comp-
direct.
yeah, I'm like a competitive differentiator.
No, 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 no. Be super specific about the
Okay.
opportunities. In fact, if I were you, I'd be sending out an email once a month that said, here are all the, like, I would get a list of maybe 5 opportunities, and I'd say something like, hey, here are 5 opportunities that you could have taken advantage of had you been compliant.
Okay.
You know what I mean? In other words,
Yeah.
FOMO is a major selling point.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, cool. So I hope that answered that question. We're on, believe it or not, to number 4. So number 1, again, expertise. Number 2 is ideal client, and number 3 is delivery or your offering. And let me say one more thing about ideal client before I go on. And by the way, those first 3 that I just identified, that is all about that first phase. This is the equivalent of Jasmine saying, we first got to get your face together. Right? So we first got to get your skin laid down. That's the first phase. That's the foundation of your business. If you don't have your ideal client, if you don't have your expertise, and you don't have your offering nailed down, then there's no need of you even going out there and start marketing and selling and doing client engagement because you really haven't hit the mark yet. So let me say this one more thing about ideal client. When I ask people who their ideal client is, and I say, please do me a favor and get away from the whole demographic thing. Get away from the whole, oh, is this person who is, they're 5'2" and they weigh whatever pounds, and they get away from that. And you're actually having a conversation about who your ideal client is. Do not start with why they are busted, broken down, and messed up. Like I had somebody say recently, she goes, well, how her marketing said how to go from broke to badassery in your bank or something like that, right? And I said, so your ideal client is broke? And you wonder why they can't pay you? It's because they broke. What's up, Jasmine?
So one of the things someone that I was working with taught me about, instead of like the ideal client, to shift it to thinking about a client avatar.
Yes. Yeah, you can think about a client avatar. A lot of people do that, but what they still do, even when they think about ideal client avatar, Jazz, you know what they
Hmm.
do? They still start going, they're 5'2", they weigh 150 pounds. That they still go into their head. And I'm like, no, stop doing that. Just say, who do you want to work with? You know what I mean? Like be really, really clear. So if you said, Donna, I specialize in mature skin, or I
Hmm.
specialize in problem skin, or I specialize with women who have melasma that want to have I think that's what it's called, that want to
Hmm.
have that perfect, flawless skin. Then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm a more mature one with a little bit of melasma. Maybe I give you a holler because now you're
Hmm.
talking to me as compared to talking to I work with people of all skin types from all places and all day. And I'm
Yes.
like, yeah, I can't, you're
Okay.
not talking to me.
So, because I was looking at it like one of the things that I was including in mine was that I want a client that's too busy to look on YouTube and try to mix something up in her kitchen.
Got you. Got you. And it
You
could be
know?
that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then of course, what is it that she's trying to do? So the thing is, why
Okay.
so let's talk about what makes her a badass first. So this is what I always say. So I'll use your client. You
Mhm.
are a busy woman who's out there crushing it with
Yes.
your family and business and everything. So first I'm gonna say she's amazing. And then I'm just like, and the last thing you have time to do is go on YouTube to try to mix up some magic to make your face look pretty. But I got you covered.
Hmm.
See how the language changed because as compared to your face is busted.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like what? Always talk about your client first as being a total badass. They got out of bed, they put on their socks and shoes and they climbed and got to that first, they got to that first plateau. Now they have 5 different directions to go. They don't know which way to go. And so they're calling
Hmm.
you to help them get to the next peak. That's how you want to talk about your clients. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Cool, cool. And that makes your clients feel better about themselves. Like you listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, and some of my clients are on here. Tracy's on here, Michael's on here, Rudy's on here, Latanya's on here. My clients are on here. All my clients are badasses, and they know it because I tell you it all the time. All right, let's go on to number 4. Number 4 is market audacity. Market audacity. Hey, Jazz, you're still your mic's still open, hon. Market audacity is not marketing. Marketing is literally saying, look at me. I'm going to get up here and I want everyone to check me out. That's marketing. That means you're not speaking to anyone in specific. You're literally just talking to anyone who will listen. Market audacity is different. Market audacity says, I am talking to you and only you. So while all y'all can look, only those 3 people can get it. Those are the only ones that can get in the private club. Market audacity is a nice way of saying, I'm going to create an offer that's only for these people to get in. I'm only interested in working with these people. The best thing about doing that is everyone in my network knows that everyone in my network is a badass. Which means if Tracy, for example, knew someone who had a product, Tracy would say, "Oh, you want to get that in big box? I know somebody," and she could go to Latanya. If Latanya was like, "Oh, I have these executives that are really struggling over here with their executive leadership and just getting things together," she would go, "Oh, I could go to Tracy." My network works with my network because my network, as me saying I only let in badasses and I vet them strongly, because of that, they're very clear that they are now surrounded by this network of absolutely amazing people. You want to make sure that you are doing that, that you really are doing the type of market audacity that only speaks to the people that you are speaking to. Everyone else can kick rocks. That's number 4. And I know we only have a few minutes, so I'm going to jump to number 5. And Jared, if you need to jump in, please let me know. So, number 5 is client engagement. Client engagement is not going on LinkedIn and sending 850 messages out to people saying, "Hey, my favorite, hey, I really liked your profile. I would love to contact you. I would love to talk to you more about your stuff. In the meantime, let me send you, 50 paragraphs about my crap." Hate that. Client engagement literally means I know your name. I went and looked at your website. I'm going to send you an email. When I send you that email, I'm going to send that email to you about you and talk to you. Client engagement takes more time, but at the end of the day, the return on investment from that client engagement is tenfold of what you get from this spray and pray crap that a lot of people like to do. The spray and pray is the worst. You really want to get to the point where you are talking to your clients. And here's the language that I want you to use. Number 1, I want you to identify what's going on in their world that brought you together. Number 2, and by the way, these are money making questions. So if you're just listening and not writing down, you're missing them, write these down. Number 1, what's going on in your world that got us on the phone today or that brought us together? Number 2, what is frustrating you? Not what are your challenges? What are your issues? No, 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 no. What's frustrating you? Frustrations are personal. So, what have you tried that hasn't worked? What do you want to do, but you can't do? What are those things? That's number 2. And number 3, so I understand your frustration. I understand where you are, and I have an idea of where you want to go. But what's the cost of doing nothing? So, in a year, when I talk to you again, if we don't work together, what does your life look like? What does your business look like? Are you still dealing with the same crap that you dealt with last year? Most of the people I talk to will tell me they've been dealing with something for a year, if not more. And then I will, do you want to do something about it now or do you want to keep dealing with it? Because you ain't figured it out so far. You got to have those real conversations with your clients and be super, super, super true. So that would be number 5, making sure that you're having the kind of conversations with your clients that are true to your clients. Stop sending out these mass emails to a whole bunch of people and just spamming up their inbox. Have real conversations, real client engagement. And then the last one, which is number 6, is all about sales acceleration. Here's the thing. I used to hate sales, and not just kind of hate sales. I hated sales. And I hated sales because it felt icky and gross and disgusting. And I always felt like I was being pushy, and I just hated it. And then I started reading sales books. I'm going to tell you a secret about sales books. Every sales book that is out there is written for someone who is a sales professional. It's not written for coaches. It's not written for entrepreneurs. It is not written for consultants. It's written for those people. I knew that if I wanted my business to go from an idea to a multi-million dollar business, that I had to learn how to sell. And I had to learn how to do it in a way that felt good. Because if it doesn't feel good, you're not going to keep doing it. And pardon my French, the people out here selling bullshit that says your expertise will sell itself, your product will sell itself, they're lying. Ignore them. They're full of crap, because that is absolutely untrue. I have seen more people waste their hard-earned money with that kind of crap. I hated sales so much that I had to figure out how to do it. And as a result, was able to build a $250 million company. How did I do that? By creating a methodology in sales that specifically leveraged my talents as a coach first. Now, sales is easy. And I am one of the top requested sales coaches and consultants for companies that's a minority female. One of the top rated. I've beat out people like Grant Cardone, believe it or not, for his contracts for sales, because I teach sales to experts in a way that doesn't feel gross. You must be able to sell if you are going to truly crush it in business. You have to. And then you can get a salesperson. But if you don't know how to sell, you are going to struggle. Listen, anyone can accidentally fall into some cash. I accidentally found $20 last week and went to Starbucks. It doesn't mean that's going to be my strategy every week. But if you want to be wealthy, if you want to have financial freedom from corporate colonization, you have to be able to sell, and you have to be able to do it extremely well. All right, Jared, I know you're having technical difficulties. Are you back? Are you on?
I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. But you were going so with a flow. I was just like taking notes and have my pen and pad out. So you're crushing it. So when it comes down to the opportunity at the top, can you just reiterate for the folks? What are they going to get from that experience, and who are the type of people you're looking to work with?
Yeah, absolutely. So what it is Fyrebrand.net. First of all, Fyrebrand.net is my company, and we are a coaching company. We are the coach's coach. My goal is, here's the thing. I honestly feel that coaches are really the people who are going to change the world. And I don't mean that lightly. I mean that seriously, because you have a passion for what you do and you're a specialist. So at the end of the day, you're going in there and passing on something that's going to be passed on. And I think there is no greater thing that people can do right now. That's number one. And so what we do is we decided for the first time ever, instead of just doing, most of our programs, honestly, are they're $15,000 to $20,000. So first time ever, we're doing a program that is a 3-day boot camp where we're going through these things that I just talked to you about in 3 days. And it's an actual boot camp, pen to paper. You're going to walk away with something. And I know my girl Tracy, I think she's a little busy. I wish I could bring her up, because Tracy has been to several boot camps and she is an alumni. But now what we're doing is I mean, I'm sorry, she's been to several mansion retreats, but this time we're actually going to do a 3-day boot camp. And it's going to be in Orlando. It's going to be April 28th, 29th, and 30th. And it is like, seriously, bring your pen, bring your paper, and bring your hand cramp cream, because you're going to walk out with solutions. And it's not one of those where we stand up and just waterboard you. You're going to take content, you're going to use that content. We're going to validate that what you're doing is right before you leave, so that when you leave, you're actually already going full steam ahead. Oh, there she is, Tracy.
Hello.
Hi. I just wanted you to
Hi.
first of all, I just want you to talk a little bit because so Tracy is what I call a legacy because she's been to like 850 million of my meet and greets. But specifically, Tracy, you use the bat signal and the coaching for the sale methodology. Can
Mhm.
you just speak a little bit to how using that has changed the game for you?
Exponentially. So before, I really didn't know selling before I learned the coaching for the sale methodology and using the bat signal, and now I swear by it. With any of my clients, I believe the most powerful part of it is that it forces you as the expert and forces you as the person who's trying to get the sale to be quiet and really listen to your potential clients' needs and understanding truly what's happening in their world. As you get them talking, you're able to then show them in a different way how your solution is the right fit for them. And you're even able to understand even expanded offerings that you can provide for them because you're choosing to do the listening instead of choosing to do the talking.
Absolutely. And that's a big part of it. And there are specific questions that we're always looking to ask. And my favorite thing is when Tracy calls me and she's like, "Oh my God, I was in a room with these people," and I'm sitting there going, "Okay, I got to take this over because," and these are like professional salespeople. And she's like, "I got to take this over because they don't know what they're doing." And it literally has turned into money. Right, Trey?
Yes, it has.
And one of the things that you need to know from a stat is that an educated client actually spends about 30% more on average. And so one of the big things about coaching for the sale is that actually instead of selling to coach, you're coaching for the sale, which actually allows your ideal client to become more educated so they'll want to work with you in bigger and better ways. So that's what I got, Jared. Anything else that you want me to add? We did our 6 ways or questions or I'll hand it over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, this was amazing. So if you haven't already, make sure you're following Donna. Make sure you go ahead and click the link at the top, and invest in yourself, and see if you're a right fit for her program. If you're an expert in your field and you just need that extra insight to get you to the next level exponentially, just Donna, real quick, can you just reiterate your success? Because I feel like you kind of talked about it, but like just let the people know for the recording, like how much of a badass you are.
How you dig the way I was like I just like slid past it like kind of smooth because I want people to
You're
focus on
like, yeah,
it.
$250 million company, no big deal. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
I mean, yeah, it was like all right. Yeah, and there are a couple of people here. Mike down there is my chief sales officer. Y'all might see him writing comments over there in the magic. Rudy is one of the right hands at my program. Then of course Tracy is a legacy client. I absolutely love her, and Latanya is a client. And so my background is I was homeless and I was 19 years old. So at 19 years old, I was homeless. I got into IT, quite honestly, by reading books and applying everything that I read in a book. It's one of the reasons why I teach the way I teach. I teach you something and then I want you to immediately apply it. It is one of the bigger things that I teach people. Because if I can get you to immediately apply it, you will suddenly find out that you are learning and keeping and retaining more because knowledge does not die. So I got really into IT, and then from being in that IT world, I built a business. Remember, I said you can fall into money on accident. I built a business quite on accident, but then I decided I wanted to stay there. And so myself and my business partner built a business intelligence company, and we did a lot of government contracts, and we sold it when I was 39 for 250 million. And then I retired for like 30 days, stumbled around a little bit, completely forgot that I had a methodology, believe it or not. Like, hmm, oh, I got one of those. Um, went and started using my methodology and restarted a business that was really focused on speaking and coaching and mainly speaking and coaching. I'm not going to say consulting, mainly speaking and coaching. And so that's what I do now. And I did the things that a lot of people do. Like I, I, I selected an expertise and I stayed in the expertise for as long as I liked it. And then I switched out until I got to a point where, because I had a lot of areas that I could choose from. And then I finally got into the one expertise that I absolutely love, which is truly helping people turn their expertise into high ticket offers and a high profit business, not just chasing a gig. Because if you're chasing the dollar, it will never catch you. So you really have to be super smart about, how do I create the type of business that I am helping my client and not selling to them, that I am making a true difference in their life that they can make in the lives of others, and that all of this connects to my true calling on this earth. We all have a true calling. There are so few times that we're chasing our true calling because we're so busy chasing the dollar. Once I really discovered what my true calling was, I eat, sleep, breathe, drink this every day, and I don't think I've worked a day in my life since I found it. Is that good, Jared?
Yeah, no, that was perfect. Sorry, I was in another window. No, that was perfect. And because the replays are powerful, and I want to make sure that the people that watch this replay get like the full vision of the type of person that they'll be working with when working with you. So, if anybody has a question, feel free to raise your hand and come to the stage. Otherwise, we're gonna close out the room. But if you're not doing so already, make sure that you follow Donna. I want to shout out Women in Business. Thank you for letting us host us in the club. Click the greenhouse, learn more about it. It's an invite only, but if you follow the instructions, you could potentially be invited to go to be a part of Women in Business. And yeah, definitely click the link at the top. Invest in yourself. And I'm going to let you, Donna, have the final word, and then we're going to close out.
All right, absolutely. So, one of the things, especially as experts and coaches in regards to what we're doing, that we tend to forget is this. And I'm just going to keep you with these little things. Don't be a jack of all trades. Seriously, don't. Choose the thing that you're going to do, crush it like nobody's business. Treat your business like a private club, not like a public park. And if you really want more commas in your bank account, you need more comma. You need to take those commas out of your expertise. Let me say that one more time. If you want more commas in your bank account, take them out of your expertise. Choose the one thing that you do and do it like nobody's business. A misconception that people have is that they think I'm selling money, and I am not. I am selling freedom, financial freedom from corporate colonization. The more money you have, the more choices you have. And the more choices you have, the freer you are. And I invite everybody, everybody who's qualified to be my ideal client, to get on my Underground Railroad to that freedom, because I'm telling you, money is exponential, but time is limited. So don't wait until next week, next month, next year. Get on a call with me. The link is available. Go to fyrebrand.net, click on there and get on a call with me. It is not a sales call because I don't have time to sell you. It is literally a half an hour of understanding where you are and figuring out how it can help you. And if there's a match and you decide you want to do something and I think you're qualified, then I'll let you. It's that simple.
All right. With that being said, I think all has been said. So, again, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Jasmine, Latanya, and Tracy for coming to the stage. Latanya and Tracy for your insight in what it's like to work with Donna. That's super helpful. And yeah, we'll be doing more of these rooms in the Women in Business Club. So make sure you follow Donna. Click that bell next to her name, the follow button, so that when we do schedule another room, you'll be alerted and you'll be able to come in and learn more. But rather than follow her on Clubhouse, I would get on a call with her, see if there's a good fit, and see if she can add some more commas to your bank account. All right, y'all. Let's have a
Absolutely.
good day
Have
or
a
a
good
good day.
one.
All right, bye.
Bye.